Uganda, a land stitched together by rivers and light, where the Nile begins its long journey north, winding through papyrus swamps and mirror-bright lakes, where volcanic mountains breathe clouds into the sky, and grasslands roll endlessly beneath the call of cranes. Here, Africa gathers all its colors into one place. The whisper of rain through Bwindi's ancient forests. The shimmer of heat across the savannahs of Queen Elizabeth. Uganda is a sanctuary where wilderness still speaks, a meeting ground of air, earth, and song. In this journey from BBTV Official, we travel through Uganda's living heart to witness the birds that define its soul. Fierce and gentle, radiant and rare. Each feather, each call, a reminder that here, at the center of Africa, the sky itself is alive. Wind stirs the canopy before the bird reveals itself. From a tangle of green and shadow emerges a black and white figure, crowned with an immense helmet-like bill. This is the black and white casqued hornbill, Volcanistes subcylindricus. Its name, meaning nearly cylindrical casque, refers to the bulbous structure atop its beak, a natural amplifier and a badge of dominance. Native to the western and central forests of Uganda, this hornbill favors tropical lowland rainforests and riverine woodlands. From the tangled heights of Kibale to the forest corridors along the Nile, it soars between fruiting trees, calling out with a hoarse bark that echoes through the green cathedral above. It measures up to 28 inches long and weighs over 2 pounds. Jet black plumage cloaks its body, broken only by a stark white belly and tail. The most commanding feature is the oversized beak, topped with an ivory-colored casque, deeply grooved and hollow, especially prominent in males, a resonator for sound and a weapon for aerial duels. Flight is not silent. Wing beats are heavy, deliberate, almost thunderous. During breeding season, males clash mid-air, casque against casque, in powerful courtship displays that reverberate like drums through the forest canopy. Though primarily frugivorous, it won't hesitate to snatch insects, lizards, or bird eggs. It plucks fruit with its massive bill, tossing pieces skyward and catching them in a swift, practiced gulp. The female seals herself inside a tree cavity with mud and chewed fruit, leaving just a narrow slit. There, she remains for weeks, incubating the eggs, while the male feeds her through the opening, patient, devoted, relentless. When it lifts off from the treetops, the rhythm of its wings isn't a whisper, but a rolling wave, like the forest exhaling through the feathers of a giant. Morning stirs over Kibale Forest as light ripples through layers of green. A flutter of deep cobalt cuts the air. A slow, regal glide between towering figs and vine-laced trunks. This is the Great Blue Turaco, Coryphaeola cristata, the forest's royal messenger, its plumage echoing the quiet thunder of the canopy. Native to Uganda's central and western rainforests, it moves through the treetops like a drifting cloud of color. Every wing beat seems measured, its rhythm in tune with the murmur of cicadas and the soft breath of the forest wind. Wherever fruit ripens in the shadows, the Turaco follows. Silent, patient, eternal. Stretching nearly 30 inches from bill to tail, it is one of Africa's largest fruit-eating birds. Its crown glows dark sapphire, eyes rimmed with crimson, wings brushed with gold-green light. Seen in flight, it is both elegance and gravity, each glide a slow painting against the dim air. The Great Blue Turaco feeds on figs, berries, and tender shoots, swallowing with the care of a monarch at feast. Its digestive system scatters seeds far and wide, weaving new life through the forest's tapestry. In this way, it is not just a traveler, but a gardener of the treetops. Pairs call to each other with rolling, flute-like notes that drift across valleys, blending with the wind's low hum. Their voices carry far, an unseen song threading through the distance between crowns. And when the day fades and the wind stills, its cry remains suspended in the air. A royal tone unbroken by time, the voice of Kibale's living canopy that endures long after the wings have gone. A flash of scarlet tears through the morning air, slicing the green silence in a blaze of movement. In the warm breeze of Uganda's woodland edges, the Ross's Turaco Rosse, erupts from the branches like a flame freed from its wick, turning flight itself into spectacle. Native to the open forests and riverine thickets of central and eastern Uganda, it thrives where the light meets leaf and shadow. Its presence is often betrayed not by sight, but by sound, a rolling cow-cow that bursts through the canopy like laughter carried by wind. In this shimmering borderland between forest and savanna, the Turaco reigns as a spark of life against the endless green. About 17 inches long, its body gleams with indigo and turquoise, crowned by a brilliant red crest that flares like a royal seal. When it spreads its wings, the underfeathers ignite in crimson, glowing brighter than the embers of a grassland fire. Unlike hunters of the air, it feeds on figs, flowers, and tender shoots, hopping gracefully from branch to branch. Its movements are fluid, deliberate, almost theatrical, as if aware that beauty itself can be a form of power. Pairs bond for life, nesting in the high boughs, their quiet devotion hidden beneath the canopy's shifting light. Throughout East Africa, its fiery feathers once adorned ceremonial headdresses and royal garments. Even today, its image lingers in song and story, an emblem of joy, fertility, and renewal. And as it vanishes into the forest light, the Ross's Turaco lives on, a timeless brushstroke of color in Uganda's living mythology. From the stillness of dawn, a haunting call rises. 3 slow, flute-like notes that drift across the woodland like a forgotten melody. It belongs to the red-chested cuckoo, Cuculus solitarius, a bird more often heard than seen. The species name means solitary, a nod to its elusive nature and lonesome voice that echoes through Uganda's forests and hillsides. Widespread across the country, it favors moist woodlands, forest edges, and even well-vegetated gardens. In places like Mabira and the slopes of Mount Elgon, it lingers among dense foliage, moving softly through shadowed branches. Its presence is revealed not by movement, but by voice, a call that locals say sounds like it's saying, "Where are you?" Measuring about 13 inches long, It wears a subtle but elegant palette. The breast glows with a warm brick-red hue, sharply contrasting with its gray head, slate back, and pale underparts barred with fine dark lines. Eyes are golden, alert, set beneath a sleek, hawk-like profile. What defines this cuckoo is not just its song, but its strategy. It practices brood parasitism, laying its eggs in the nests of other birds, especially robins and thrushes. The unsuspecting hosts raise the chick as their own, even as it outgrows and outcompetes their true offspring. Its diet consists mostly of caterpillars, including hairy or toxic ones most birds avoid. It scans from low perches, then swoops down to snatch prey with sharp precision. With no need to build a nest or rear its young, the red-chested cuckoo remains a wanderer. It appears, sings, and slips away, leaving only its melancholy voice hanging in the morning air, like a question with no answer, echoing through the trees. A shadow glides through fig leaves, silent but dazzling in motion. A flash of crimson, a ripple of violet. Then, just as quickly, it's gone. Only when the canopy stills does its name finally emerge. The purple-crested Turaco, Gallirex porphyriolophus, meaning the regal king with a purple crest. Found between 3,000 and 6,000 feet across southern and western Uganda, it thrives in moist riverine forests, woodland edges, and acacia groves near Lake Victoria. It avoids dense canopy, preferring sunlight filtering through the mid-level branches, where fruits ripen in clusters. Measuring about 17 inches from crown to tail and weighing roughly 10 ounces, this Turaco is a vision of shifting color. The crest glows deep purple, the wings blaze crimson in flight, and its tail flashes blue-green like wet moss. Males and females look nearly identical, both crowned as if born royal. Most remarkable is its soft, barking call, cow, 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 echoing through dawn mist. It's not a songbird's melody, but a territorial declaration that carries for miles, bouncing through valleys like a woodland drumbeat. Food sources range from figs, berries, and guavas to tender shoots and seeds. Its digestive tract disperses fruit seeds over wide ranges, turning each feeding into a quiet act of reforestation. Breeding occurs from September to February. Pairs build saucer-shaped nests of twigs in thick foliage, raising 2 pale green chicks. Both parents share duties, carrying fruit pulp to feed their young. In Ugandan folklore, this bird was once the messenger of kings, a bearer of rain and renewal. And even now, when its wings cut through the forest light, the crown of the wild rises again, untamed, unseen, but never forgotten. Through the acacia groves and mango orchards of Uganda, a flicker of brown drifts like a whisper through the heat. Not loud, not proud, just a shimmer of motion between fruit and leaf. The speckled mousebird, Coleus striatus, is the country's quiet companion, a small wanderer that turns ordinary trees into playgrounds of grace. Common from Kampala's gardens to the open woodlands of Murchison and Mbali, it is a bird of company and curiosity. Seldom alone, mousebirds move in chatty clusters, their soft trills rising and falling like conversation carried by the wind. They are the pulse of the everyday sky, a reminder that beauty does not always need distance or rarity. Barely 14 inches long, most of it tail, the mousebird wears a coat of muted taupe and soft gray. speckled like dust over old stone. A short crest rises when it's alert, giving it a touch of mischief. Its eyes, dark and keen, flash with endless curiosity. Feeding on fruit, buds, and blossoms, it clambers through branches with an agility closer to a squirrel than a bird. Sometimes it hangs upside down, tugging at figs with its hooked bill, while its companions flutter close, sharing both food and warmth. Its world is simple but rich, a tapestry woven from chatter, motion, and sunlight. Pairs nest communally, weaving their cup-shaped homes among the branches. Chicks huddle together even after fledging, sleeping in tangles of feathers and tails as night air cools the plains. And when the day stills and the wind fades to a hush, the mousebirds remain, a cluster of warmth on a single branch, breathing quietly against the sky as if the heart of Uganda itself had learned how to perch. A flash of motion breaks the still water. From the hush of Uganda's papyrus wetlands, a dark shape rises, slender, deliberate, and deadly precise. This is the African open-bill, Anastomus lameligerus, a master of patience forged in the silence of the marsh. It thrives where others falter, among the floating lilies and reed-laced pools of the Nile floodplains, Lake Albert and Mabamba. Here, sunlight glints on rippling water, and the air hums with the weight of heat and hidden life. It is a world ruled not by speed, but by stillness, and the open bill knows both. Standing nearly 3 feet tall, draped in feathers of ink-black bronze, its body gleams with a subtle sheen that catches the river's breath. But it is the bill, gapped and curved like a broken blade, that defines its reign. This gap is no flaw, but perfection, an adaptation honed by evolution for one purpose alone: to pry open the shells of snails and mollusks that hide beneath the shallows. It hunts with eerie precision, its long neck coiling like a question before it strikes. When the shell cracks, the sound is a whisper, the echo of 1,000 quiet victories in the wetlands. Its nest, a loose lattice of reeds, floats close to the waterline. Both parents guard it fiercely, raising their young on a diet of river life, snails, clams, and the soft heartbeat of the Nile. And when the light dims across the marshes, the open bill stands unmoving once more, a black silhouette mirrored in silver water, a quiet keeper of the stillness where life and silence meet. A sudden splash shatters the calm face of Lake Victoria. From the blur of spray, a shadow erupts, sleek, black, and arrow-fast. The long-tailed cormorant, Microcarbo africanus, dives and rises with surgical precision, its movements stitched into the rhythm of water and sky. Found along Uganda's Great Lakes, rivers, and swamps, this agile hunter thrives where stillness hides sudden motion. It perches on half-sunken logs, wings outstretched to the wind, a living crucifix of shadow and sun. When hunger calls, it vanishes beneath the surface, slicing through the murk with a grace no current can restrain. Barely 25 inches from beak to tail, its body is built for pursuit, streamlined, feathered in charcoal gloss that drinks the light. Its eyes, green as Nile water, pierce the depths ahead. Its long tail acts as a rudder, twisting through eddies as it chases fish among reeds and roots. After the hunt, It surfaces in silence, droplets rolling off its slick feathers like beads of glass. Unable to trap air in its plumage, it must dry itself. Perched high, wings spread wide to the lake breeze, a black banner trembling against the white glare. It nests close to water, weaving a platform of reeds and sticks. Parents share the labor, guarding their brood from crocodiles and storms, feeding the chicks with silver fish drawn from the shallows. Each day is a cycle of immersion and flight, of plunge and rest. And when the storm clouds rise and the waves turn wild, the cormorant remains, a streak of darkness on a field of light, as fierce as the Nile's own current, yet still as its final calm. A piercing cry splits the air above Lake Victoria, a sound older than memory, fierce as a storm over open water. Wings outstretched, the African fish eagle, Haliaeetus vocifer, dives from the sky like a blade of living bronze, a hunter shaped by wind and time. It rules the lakes and rivers of Uganda, the vast sweep of the Nile, the mirrored calm of Albert, the hidden bays of Edward. Everywhere the water moves, its reflection follows. White head flashing, chestnut wings beating against the horizon's glare. It is not just a bird of prey, but a symbol of sovereignty, of clarity, of the raw pulse of life where water meets sky. At nearly 7 feet across, its wings cut through the air with the strength of a desert wind. Its eyes, amber and unwavering, track the smallest shimmer beneath the surface. Then, with a sudden contraction of muscle and silence, it falls, talons striking, droplets scattering like shards of glass. Its call, a resonant, echoing cry, rolls across the land like the voice of the Nile itself. For centuries, that sound has marked the rhythm of Africa's rivers, a hymn of power and persistence. Tribes along the lakes have long believed it carries the spirit of kings and ancestors watching over the waters. High on a riverside tree, it builds a fortress of sticks and reeds, returning year after year to the same throne above the flood. And even when the wind shifts and the clouds erase its form, its voice remains, Ferendit, threaded through the air, eternal as the rivers that remember it. Across Uganda's burning plains, where carrion birds circle over heat-shimmered skies, one vulture breaks the rule of its kind. White as ash and black as shadow, the palm nut vulture, Gypohyrax angolensis, glides above the river palms, hunting not for flesh, but for fruit. Along the shores of Lake Albert and the Nile's green veins, it drifts between forest and floodplain. Here, among the palms heavy with oily fruit, it feeds not on the dead, but on life itself, on ripened kernels that glisten under the weight of equatorial heat. Few predators choose such purity, yet the palm nut vulture thrives where others starve. Its plumage gleams starkly against the blue vault of the sky, white wings edged with charcoal, eyes ringed in crimson fire. When it soars, the wind ripples through its feathers like a hymn half wild, half sacred. At nearly 2 feet tall, it commands the air with the same calm dominion as its darker cousins. Though it feeds mostly on palm nuts, it has not forgotten its heritage. At times, it descends to scavenge fish or carrion when storms empty the land. A creature of balance, it walks the narrow line between grace and hunger, purity and power, It nests high in palm crowns, a fortress woven from fronds and bark. Mated pairs stay for life, their bond as enduring as the trees that feed them. And as the hot wind rises from the savannah, the palm nut vulture wheels overhead. A contradiction carved in light and shadow, the spirit of a predator reborn in peace. Mist hovers above the swamp like breath held still, and out of it, a shadow unmoving. Eyes like molten iron, posture regal, beak like an ancient weapon. This is the shoebill, Baleniceps rex, a bird so primordial, its name means king with a shoe-shaped bill. Revered and feared in equal measure, its gaze alone feels like a relic of lost worlds. This elusive giant haunts the papyrus marshes of central Uganda, especially around Lake Albert and the Nile Delta. It thrives where still waters mirror the sky, and the reeds whisper stories no human ears were meant to hear. In these secretive wetlands, it walks alone, silent, ghost-like, watching. Standing up to 5 feet tall and stretching over 8 feet in wingspan, the shoebill appears carved from slate and ash. Its plumage wears the color of storm clouds, tinged with silver. But it's that bill, huge, hooked, pale as bone, that defines its mythic presence. Unlike most herons or storks, it freezes in place for hours, waiting. Then, in a single brutal motion, it strikes with a clap like thunder, dragging lungfish or baby crocodiles from beneath the surface. Its hunting strategy is less chase, more execution. Meals are swallowed whole, and its cavernous bill snaps shut with terrifying force. It prefers solitary hunts, rarely tolerating company beyond mating season. Even its call, low clattering, like a wooden drum, is rare and haunting. Nests rise slightly above the soggy earth, woven from grasses and guarded by 2 fiercely loyal parents. Only one chick usually survives, nature's hard lesson in selection and strength. From the stillness of Uganda's wetlands, it lifts into the air not with grace, but with the authority of a monarch, ancient, alone, and unforgettable. Morning haze lifts from Uganda's wetlands as water shimmers like liquid glass. Through the mirrored surface moves a dancer of precision, the long-toed lapwing, Vanellus crassirostris, its steps as light as drifting reeds upon the tide. Each motion carries the calm grace of water remembering wind. This lapwing inhabits the quiet edges of lakes and floodplains, from Lake Albert to the Upper Nile. It prefers the liminal zones, where land breathes into water, where stillness hides life. Here, it treads carefully among lilies and papyrus, its long toes spreading wide to balance upon mud and floating leaves. At about 13 inches long, it is built for elegance. Black crown, white face, and a rich chestnut collar that glows against its silvery wings. Its legs, reed-thin and endless, give it the poise of a creature carved from water and patience. Even its call, a thin, ringing cry, seems shaped by distance and reflection. It feeds with delicate precision, probing the shallows for insects, crustaceans, and the soft larvae that ripple beneath the silt. Each catch is a quiet act, more ripple than sound, more rhythm than hunt. During the breeding season, pairs stake out a small patch of wetland, fiercely defending it from herons and jacanas. Their nests, shallow scrapes in open mud, cradle 2 or 3 speckled eggs camouflaged against the earth. Both parents share the vigil, their silhouettes standing in calm defiance against wind and wave. And when evening heat bends the horizon and the marsh breathes in silence, the lapwing remains, a still shape upon endless water, its reflection fading slowly into the hush of the wetlands. The grasslands tremble with motion, dust rising, wings flaring, voices clattering like rainfall on iron. Across the plains of Uganda, the helmeted guinea fowl, Numida meleagris, charges through the heat in a blur of speckled black and white. It does not glide or soar. It runs, swift as the wind that scours the red earth, every movement a drumbeat of survival. From the open savannahs of Kidapo to the farmlands near Lake Mburo, these ground dwellers travel in bustling troops. They weave between termite mounds and thorn trees, their calls a raucous chorus echoing across the horizon. Wherever they roam, the land feels awake, alive with the rhythm of their restless stride. Each bird stands about 20 inches tall, sturdy and round, cloaked in a pattern of perfect geometry, white spots scattered over charcoal feathers. Its bald, blue-gray head bears a bony casque, the helmet that gives the species its name. Under the African sun, it gleams like hammered metal, a relic of endurance forged by heat and time. They feed on seeds, insects, and fallen fruit, scratching at the soil in flurries of motion. Every discovery triggers a chorus of calls, a sudden eruption of energy before calm returns again. Predators strike often, but unity is their shield. One alarm cry, and the entire flock explodes into motion. When the rains come, pairs break from the flock to nest under low shrubs, guarding their clutch of camouflaged eggs. Chicks emerge already running, tiny sparks of determination scattering into the grass. And so the guinea fowl endures. Year after year, season after season, a spirit born of dust and thunder, its drumming feet echoing the eternal pulse of the African plain. Two seconds. That's all it needs to change direction mid-air, faster than most birds twice its size. This streak of motion is the African paradise flycatcher, Terpsiphone viridis, its name meaning the green bird of delight, drawn from Greek mythology where terpsichore symbolized dance. Distributed across southern and western Uganda, it moves through riverine forests, wooded savannas, and gallery thickets from 2,000 to 5,500 feet. The species favors shaded pathways where insects swirl above streams and tangled vines offer cover. Roughly the size of a small thrush, it reaches 7 to 8 inches in the female. But males transform during breeding, growing tail streamers up to 12 inches long, nearly doubling their length. Plumage varies: chestnut wings, grayish-blue head, and a glossy black mask. White morph males glide like falling petals. Chestnut morphs burn copper in sunlight. One feature dominates its life: the chase. This bird hunts in bursts, darting, looping, twisting through branches with movements that seem to fold the air itself. Each aerial turn saves energy. Each mid-flight swerve is a calculation. Evolution shaped it into a dancer built for pursuit. Feeding consists primarily of flying insects, dragonflies, moths, beetles, taken in rapid sallies from mid-perches. It also snatches spiders from low leaves, patrolling like a ribbon of motion. Between October and February, pairs weave shallow cup nests from bark fibers, spider silk, and moss. They place them on thin branches above water, out of reach of ground predators. 2 to 3 eggs hatch after 2 weeks, and both parents deliver insects in constant relays. When dusk cools the Ugandan forest, its tail streamers sweep through the dim light once more. Cycle of motion beginning where the last ended, continuing as long as insects rise and wings answer. A shadow sweeps low across the acacia canopy. With a sudden beat of broad gray wings, the African harrier hawk, Polyboreoides typus, dives between branches, talons extended, eyes locked on a hidden prize. It doesn't just hunt the open air, it invades the private sanctuaries of other birds. Found across Uganda's savannahs and riverine forests, it roams wherever tall trees and cliffs provide both prey and vantage. Its silhouette is unmistakable. Broad wings, a long tail barred in black and white, and a pale face that shifts in color with its mood and exertion. It moves with a quiet mastery of both power and precision, a ghost weaving between trunks and thorns. At nearly 2 feet tall, this raptor wields its most extraordinary weapon, flexibility. Unlike any other bird of prey, it can bend its double-jointed knees backward, reaching deep into crevices and hollow trunks to steal eggs, chicks, or even lizards. It is both thief and acrobat, perfectly adapted to the layered complexity of African life. When it hunts, the forest erupts. Sunbirds scatter, weavers cry warnings, but the harrier hawk remains calm, climbing with methodical grace. It takes what it needs, nothing more, and vanishes into the heat like smoke dispersing above the plains. Pairs often nest in tall figs or rocky cliffs, their stick-built homes reused year after year. Both parents share the task of raising 1 or 2 chicks, feeding them with small mammals and the occasional snake drawn from the undergrowth. Yet this marvel of adaptation faces an invisible threat: habitat loss. As trees fall and cliffs echo emptier each season, its domain shrinks. Protecting Uganda's forests means preserving not just its prey, but the silent genius of a hunter that learned to bend where others break. Since the dawn of Uganda's savanna kingdoms, the gray-crowned crane, Balearica regulorum, has stood as a living emblem of grace and endurance. When early light spills across the golden plains, their silhouettes rise from the grasses, tall and poised, as if the land itself had taken wing. Endemic to the open wetlands and grasslands of eastern and southern Uganda, these cranes walk with a dancer's balance. Their golden crowns catch the sunlight, scattering brilliance across the dew-soaked field. In their mirrored reflection upon Lake Kyoga's shallows, beauty and dignity seem to merge into one eternal shape. Standing nearly 4 feet tall, Their plumage drapes in silver gray, tipped with white and gold, a masterpiece of restraint and brilliance. Their scarlet throats pulse with life, and when the pair begins their dance, leaping, bowing, and tossing their heads, the air itself seems to move to their rhythm. Each motion is both ritual and declaration. We belong to the wind, yet we return to the earth. Feeding gently on seeds, grains, and small insects, they stride through the marsh with unhurried grace. Their presence signals the health of the land. Where cranes flourish, the wetlands still breathe. When nesting season comes, they weave platforms of reeds above the waterline. The male guards, the female broods, and both lift their heads skyward when thunder rolls, as if answering the ancient voice of rain. Centuries have passed, kingdoms have fallen, yet their image still graces Uganda's flag, a testament carved not in stone, but in motion. As they rise together against the blazing light of the plains, wings wide like banners of hope, the gray-crowned crane endures, forever the heartbeat of Uganda's sky. The wind drifts low across Uganda's golden plains, stirring the grass in restless waves. Above the shimmer of heat, a dark silhouette stands motionless on a bare branch. This is the long-crested eagle, Lophatus occipitalis, a sentinel of the savanna, where silence is sharper than sound. It roams from the rift valleys to the acacia-dotted edges of Queen Elizabeth National Park, nesting near open meadows where prey reveals itself under the weight of noon. Here, it rules by stillness, its patience blending into the rhythm of the plains, its form dissolving into shadow and sky. Rising nearly 2 feet in height, this eagle bears a flowing crest of midnight feathers that flicker like black fire in the heat. Amber eyes scan the earth with unbroken focus, while its wings spanning over 4 feet, weight folded in disciplined restraint, power contained within poise. Its strength lies not in speed, but precision. When it strikes, the world seems to pause, a flash of talons, a heartbeat of dust, and then quiet again. Rodents, snakes, and small birds fall to its calculated descent, each hunt a ritual repeated for generations. It feeds on solitude, moving between perches like a ghost, tethered to the wind. Occasionally, a pair will share a hunting ground, their low calls threading the air like smoke rising from unseen fires. High in a fig or eucalyptus, the female builds a loose nest of sticks, while the male guards from above. 2 eggs, pale as bone, hold the future of a lineage shaped by silence and sky. And when the storm clouds gather and the air trembles with thunder, the long-crested eagle vanishes into the haze, not gone, but hidden, its spirit lingering where the wind remembers wings. Rain clouds gather above Uganda's open woodlands, and the air hums with the promise of renewal. Then, cutting through the hush, comes a cry, shrill, electric, and alive. It belongs to the woodland kingfisher, Halcyon senegalensis, a flash of blue lightning reborn each rainy season. It thrives in the mosaic of savanna and forest, where light filters through scattered acacias. From the banks of the Nile to the rolling plains of Murchison, its presence marks the rhythm of change. Where the earth drinks deeply, the kingfisher follows, calling its bright challenge into the charged air. Measuring around 9 inches, it is a study in contrast, icy blue wings edged in black, snow-white belly, and a scarlet bill sharp as a flame. When it perches, the light catches its plumage like glass over running water, every feather a reflection of sky and river intertwined. Unlike its river-hunting cousins, it favors dry land, feeding from perches on insects, grasshoppers, and the occasional lizard. Its strike is quick, a downward dart, a flash, a return to stillness, as if time itself pauses between wing beats. When breeding season arrives, pairs defend their chosen trees with fierce devotion. They nest in old woodpecker holes, their young fed on a diet of glimmering beetles and small frogs, carried from nearby puddles. The air fills with their calls, a duet between storm and sky. And when the rain finally breaks, and thunder rolls into the distance, the kingfisher remains unseen, a flicker of color among drenched branches, its song fading like memory into the trembling air. A black and white blur hovers above the shining water, motionless yet trembling with energy. Then, like a dropped spear, it plummets, splitting the surface in a burst of spray. This is the pied kingfisher, Cereal rudis, Africa's aerial assassin, a creature of pure precision. Across Uganda's rivers and lakes, Victoria, Albert, and the winding Nile, it rains wherever fish rise near the surface. It is most at home where water meets sky, where reflection and reality blur beneath the glare of midday heat. Here, it hunts not by luck, but by geometry, reading ripples, tracing shadows, mastering distance. About 10 inches long, the pied kingfisher wears the simplest armor, black, white, and light. Its wings beat in a rapid hum, its eyes calibrated like instruments of flight. Unlike other kingfishers, it can hover perfectly in place, suspended on invisible threads of air, before striking with mathematical grace. Small tilapia and minnows are its prey, seized in dives that last no more than a heartbeat. It emerges shaking droplets into diamonds, the kill secure between daggered bills. A hunter, crafted by evolution's patience. Pairs work together in remarkable cooperation. While one guards the territory, the other feeds or tends to the nest burrowed into sandy banks. Their bond is strong, sustained by rhythm, the flight, the dive, the return. And when the day grows heavy with heat and the water turns to liquid glass, the pied kingfisher hovers once more, a flicker of black and white against the blinding sky, both shadow and light, stillness and motion intertwined. What could burn brighter than the flowers of Uganda's savannah? Step closer, and the answer flashes before your eyes, a heartbeat of scarlet and shadow darting among the blooms. The scarlet-chested sunbird, Chalcomitra senegalensis, dances through the air like a spark loosed from the sun itself. It thrives across Uganda's grasslands and garden edges, from the acacia plains of Queen Elizabeth to the papaya groves near Lake Victoria. Wherever blossoms open, this tiny marvel appears, suspended in light, wings beating faster than thought. Its world is one of motion and nectar, a landscape stitched together by color and scent. Barely 5 inches long, it carries the splendor of a much grander creature. The male's throat blazes crimson, framed by a velvet black head and glinting green shoulders that shimmer like molten glass. The female, dressed in muted bronze, moves with quieter grace, a shadow beside a flame. Feeding is a ritual of precision. It hovers beside blossoms, dipping its curved bill deep into the heart of each flower, harvesting drops of nectar while carrying the forest's pollen on its shimmering crown. Even as it feeds, its call, a sharp metallic tsit-tsit, cuts through the heat like sparks in dry air. In the warm months, pairs weave a delicate nest of grass and cobweb, hanging beneath broad leaves to shield their fragile brood. Both parents feed their young tirelessly, wings flicking like restless embers in the breeze. And when the wind stills and the plains grow quiet, it lingers. A breath of color resting between petals and air, the tiniest flame that never truly goes out. Amid Uganda's blazing plains, where red dust swirls beneath the sun's unrelenting gaze, a sudden sound cleaves the air. Not a roar nor a whisper, but 2 voices locked in perfect harmony. The black-headed gonolek, Laniarius erythrogaster, sings in pairs, their duet cutting through the heat like a blade of rhythm and flame. This bird thrives along river thickets and thorny scrub, from Murchison's grasslands to the acacia borders of Lake Kyoga. It is not shy, yet rarely seen, more often heard as a flicker of sound that echoes between the reeds. For every bright song the male releases, the female replies instantly, together weaving a melody that no solo could ever hold. Small but striking, the gonolek measures about 8 inches from beak to tail. Its body is split between extremes, midnight black above and a fierce crimson below, as if the savanna itself burned beneath its wings. The contrast is more than beauty. It is defiance made visible. Its call is both love song and boundary cry. Each duet declares a territory, each echo a thread in the fabric of the bush's soundscape. Insects and small frogs form its feast, snatched deftly from shadows while its song continues, unbroken by hunger. When breeding season comes, the pair builds a low, dome-shaped nest woven from twigs and grass. Hidden among thorny branches, it shelters their pale blue eggs, a fragile promise in the heart of heat and dust. And so their duet endures, passed from season to season like a living rhythm of Africa. In every village where drums answer the plain's silence, echoes of the gonolek remain, a song older than memory, still pulsing through Uganda's beating heart. Gray glides across the savanna sky, and a coarse voice cuts through the still air. Go away, loud, nasal, unmistakable. The barefaced go-away bird, Corythaixoides personatus, isn't trying to be polite. Its name says it all. Personatus for its dark, mask-like face, and go away from the sound that has made it infamous across East Africa. In Uganda, it roams dry savannas, acacia scrublands, and thorny thickets, especially in the northeastern Karamoja region. These open landscapes, dotted with flat-topped trees and sun-scorched grass, offer the perfect mix of visibility and fruit-bearing shrubs. At around 20 inches long and weighing 8 to 10 ounces, it is sleek and long-tailed, dressed in soft ash-gray feathers with a prominent crest that rises like a wind-blown tuft. Unlike its more colorful Turaco relatives, it lacks bright pigments, and unlike them, it is loud, social, and rarely shy. The dark bare skin around its eyes and bill creates the impression of a permanent scowl. Its defining trait is attitude. It moves in small flocks, perching high in acacias, scanning the horizon, and calling raucously at the slightest disturbance. The go-away call isn't just noise. It's a warning, a territorial cry, a constant background in the open bush. Feeding mainly on fruit, flowers, buds, and young leaves, it climbs branches with agility, using its feet to grasp and its bill to pluck. It also descends to forage on the ground when food is scarce. Nests are built low in thorn trees, a loose platform of twigs where both parents care for the young with surprising gentleness. After a burst of flapping wings and fading cries, only the heat-shimmering silence remains until another sharp "go-way" rises and the bush answers back. In the bustle of Kampala's gardens and roadside groves, where boda-bodas buzz and children laugh beneath banana trees, chaos finds its chorus. Perched on a power line, feathers ruffled and eyes bright, the eastern plantain eater, Crinifer zonurus, lets loose its unmistakable call. Half cackle, half conversation, loud enough to compete with the city itself. Unlike the elusive forest dwellers, this bird has learned to live beside people. From the rooftop gardens of Entebbe to the farmlands around Jinja, it thrives wherever fruit ripens and humans leave traces of plenty. It is the soundtrack of the open air, wildness disguised as familiarity. Measuring about 20 inches long, it's no delicate creature. Its body is cloaked in soft gray streaked with buff and white, its crest tousled like an artist's hair. When it lifts its wings, flashes of chestnut and silver catch the sun, giving it a scrappy elegance amid the dust and noise. Feeding is a performance. It hops noisily from branch to branch, tugging at bananas, papayas, and guavas, dropping half its meal before finishing the rest. Its cries echo through the heat, comic and confident. One part gossip, one part declaration of life. Pairs build their twig nests high in acacias, open and exposed, as if daring the world to watch. Both parents share the task of raising their young, their calls now softer, more intimate beneath the dry season's glare. And when the day's clamor fades, the traffic thinning, the air cooling, the plantain eater remains. It perches on a rooftop silhouette, feathers settling in the evening breeze, its raucous laughter gone quiet, leaving only the hum of the city breathing around it. Across Uganda's golden plains, misted forests, and silver lakes, every bird we've met tells a story older than the Nile itself. A story of rhythm, resilience, and radiant life. From the papyrus swamps of Mabamba, where the shoebill stands in timeless silence, to the rolling savannahs where gray-crowned cranes dance beneath the open sky, to the deep green heart of Bwindi, where turacos glide like fragments of living jewels. Uganda's skies are alive with motion, color, and song. Each wingbeat carries the spirit of Africa's wild heart, a harmony of endurance and beauty woven through river, mountain, and flame. Here, every call is a memory, every feather a testament to life's endless creativity. Thank you for journeying with BBTV Official through the avian wonders of Uganda. If these voices of the wild have stirred your soul, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share which bird captured your heart along the way. Until we meet again, may the cranes call, the fish eagles cry, and the whisper of the Ugandan wind stay with you, wherever your sky may be.